you've got to be careful out there if you're looking to get into investing. Anything that looks like, really easy generally never is. We always say simple, not easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we teach, the way that we teach to invest is pretty simple. It's not rocket science. You don't need degree level maths to do it. You do need to understand basics of numbers, but it's not easy because you have to work hard to do it. Anything that looks too easy, generally, I think you need to look at deeper and ask, why is this looking so easy? I'll give an example. Well, there's many examples. Here's another one, right? So when we started investing in Liverpool, doing HMOs in Liverpool, I was copying a model that I learned and developed in Birmingham, which is where I went to university, turning 3-bed terraced houses into 6-bed ensuite student houses of a high spec. Then looked to Liverpool to do the same thing. It ticks a lot of the same boxes. And when I got there, it was interesting because I saw a load of new build student developments going up there, and they were being sold as studios, and again, painting the picture, living the dream. Students living in big soulless blocks outside of the town centre, where they get a little studio room, and there's a gym there, and you've got a cafe on the ground floor, and all this kind of stuff. And they were selling off studio units within these buildings. And I had it was an overseas investor actually who contacted me and said, "What do you think of this?" I was like, "Well, okay, good question. Here's what I think of it." It's being sold. The numbers are off the top of my head, but they are pretty accurate. I think they're being sold units, 1-bed units at 90 grand, roughly, and being guaranteed a yield of 7% for the first 2 years. Okay. So for somebody with a bit of cash and looking to just put a bit of cash into something, can look attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah. 90 grand, so all great. Put down 90 grand. I get 7% on my 90 grand. Yeah. And it's guaranteed for 2 years. Awesome. Okay. So, my question to the investor, okay, well, have you done your research on A, this developer?
Yep.
B, have you looked at the wider market? How much have you investigated? Do students in Liverpool want to live there? Because I knew that area and it was not a great area. And it's a little way out of the city centre, not on any bus routes. And I think, the investor had just been kind of believing of the sales pitch.
Yeah.
Because surely these guys know what they're doing, right? So they're telling me I can get 7%. It's guaranteed. I said, yeah, it might be guaranteed for 2 years.
Then what?
But then what? What if you can't fill it? What if students don't want to live there? Then what are you going to do? I'll just sell it. Have you looked into that? Because how are you selling that? Because you don't own the freehold, right? And it's not a leasehold flat. And the investor was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, okay, this is where you now need to learn." And and I heard of investors that had bought into these kind of units, and that they, after 2 years, the rent dried up, and because they were in the wrong place, they hadn't done their due diligence, and they hadn't checked with local, student letting agents about where students want to actually live.
Yeah.
And to get the 7% yields, I had to be charging something like £120 a week. Okay, and I'll show you, and then I'll go back to what we did, and you'll see the difference. So when so they were left holding a unit that was then empty after 2 years, and they couldn't sell them either because they didn't own the right to sell them because of the way the contracts were set up. It wasn't a sellable unit. The only way you could sell it was to another investor, but now you didn't have a 7% yield to offer that other investor. So who was going to pay 90 grand for it? Answer, nobody. Okay, so compared to what we did there, and this is where we kind of really opened their eyes to what you could do with investing, was look, while you were spending 90 grand on a unit for one person, we were buying houses, 3-bedroom terraced houses within, I'm not even joking, within about 400 meters. Okay, 500 meters at max from where this unit was. First one we bought that was £63,000 for a 3-bed terraced house, right in the student area, right on the bus route, 15-minute walk to the uni. And then we would spend another 80 grand on that.
Yeah.
To turn it into a 6-bed ensuite student house, really high standard. So we're in for what? Under 150,000. But then that property was worth 220,000, which meant we could refinance and pull all the money we put into it. Yeah. And then we had 6 people living in that one house, and we were netting over £1,000 a month after all costs. Yeah. So when I explained that way of investing to this investor, that was a total eye opener. Say, look, was yours easy to do? Yeah, it was really easy. You just put a deposit down and sat back, and that was that. So easy, yes, but it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And it brought a nightmare. Whereas our way was a lot harder, not that difficult, simple. Do this process, but took more work. But in the end of it, you've got a property that is a genuine investment that cash flows very well. All your money's back out, and guess what? You can then use that money and roll it into the next one and build a portfolio. Yeah. And that was a difference, and that's why I love that Victorian terrace model. There's lots of other reasons, but that's one example.
Yeah, I think the whole thing that we say about simple, not easy, it is hard. It's hard work. I just want to quantify the hard work, right? It's not that you're working our hard work, right? So we're not, you don't get up in the morning, you're not working 9 till 7 to be a full-time property investor. When we say hard work, we actually mean it takes effort out of the norm, in that you might need to take actions that you wouldn't normally do. And as human beings, we find that tricky, difficult, hard, if you like. So it's not like this is really, really, really hard and you're never going to actually be able to do it. It's just that it's challenging. And I would say that, if we were to count the amount of hours we actually spend working on building a property business, is very, very small.